What's up, everyone? We're going to be going through the best NBA player props on Prizepicks today. Now, I did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group, and as you guys see, we actually got 20 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. Now, a lot of you comment wanting to see how many I got wrong, and I thought I'd show you in today's video. We only got 3 picks wrong and got 20 right, which is a 90% win rate. Yes, guys, you heard that right. 90% win rate. So we're on a huge hot streak, but if you want to get a 90% win rate and get 20 picks right like me, win more bets and receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon, which will be linked down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure to join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $380 just yesterday. Another member who won $243 for the 6th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, the link will be in the description, so go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group, and I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily uploads. So quick shout out to Parada699 who said Murray is a win. So shouts out to him. And if you do want to win a shout out in the next video, all you have to do is comment down below in this video and like it. And you can be in the running to win a shout out in the next one. All right, so let's get straight into the first pick. And when it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. So the first pick we're going to win about is Tyrese Halliburton. This one is for 33.5 points, rebs, and assists. And this one actually is for less. Now, looking at Tyrese Halliburton, we've actually seen him go on the under in 2 out of the last 5 games. Now, obviously, the last 5 games have actually been against, their round 1 matchup, which was the Milwaukee Bucks. But looking at that, we see on April 20th against Bucks, he had 29 PRA. After that, moving on into the next game was obviously against Milwaukee again on April 23rd, where he had a 38 PRA. Then had a 31 PRA on April 26th. April 28th had a 40 PRA and then another 40 PRA on April 30th. So they were able to close out against the Milwaukee Bucks in a massive game, and especially Tyrese Halliburton being absolutely clutch. And now they do come into game 1 of their next series because they face off against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, it's definitely going to be an exciting matchup between both of these teams. As you all know, the Cavaliers did finish off the season with a #1 record, a 64-18 record in the Eastern Conference. And on top of that, they also had a 78% win percentage. So they did a fantastic job there. Now, they do face off against none other than the Pacers, like we mentioned. Now, Pacers do have a record, or did have a record of 50-32, had a 61% win percentage, and also ranked 4th in the Eastern Conference. So it's definitely been a very exciting time for it. Now, obviously, looking into this next game, it is going to be game 1 between both of these teams. So there's definitely going to be a lot of adjustments happening, between both of these teams for sure. But looking at Cleveland Cavaliers, we actually did see during the regular season, they did rank 12th when it came to points allowed. When we look at assists allowed, we see that Cleveland do actually rank, still very high at 8th. And then rebounds allowed, we also saw them rank really well at 11th. So it actually did rank really well in all 3 categories. Now, a big reason why we do very much like, the under for this situation is due to the fact that Cleveland just do a fantastic job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists. Now, when you also look further, you also do see is that when we look at Tyrese Halliburton, we do see he does play that point guard position. And what we have seen time and time again is that, the Indiana Pacers and Cleveland matchup, we actually do see that Cleveland do a fantastic job, especially at restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the point guard position. So we definitely see someone like, Tyrese Halliburton probably struggling in this game 1. They're obviously going to send as much as defensive pressure as possible towards him, which would definitely lead to a bit of a struggle for Tyrese coming into this game. So, for that reason, we do like the under for it. Now, looking at, Tyrese Halliburton against Cleveland throughout the regular season, we definitely pretty much saw a similar situation. We did see in their first game against each other, actually, which was on January 12th, we actually saw him have 2 points, 1 rebound, and 5 assists. So he did actually go under on his line in that one. Then moving on into the next one, he actually played again on the 10th of April in Cleveland, and then also in that matchup at 23 points, 8 rebounds, and 10 assists there. So he did go over on that matchup. So we've seen him go on the under once, go on the over in another one. Now, obviously, even though they are 50-50 coming into this next game, and as we have seen Cleveland just do a fantastic job against point guards throughout the regular season, we should see him go on the under here. So for that reason, keep an eye out for the under for this one. So Tyrese Halliburton for 33.5 points, ribs, and assists for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now, getting into the next one, we're going to be talking about none other than Benedict Mathurin. The Benedict Mathurin, great player, and this one is a fantastic one for 9.5 points, and this one actually is for less. Now, looking at Benedict Mathurin, as you all know, great player for Indiana Pacers. So, obviously, guys, there is only 2 games today. So, some of the picks may overlap in a sense of teams and games. But Benedict Mathurin from Indiana, this one's a great one, like we mentioned, in points. Now, we did see them face off against, Milwaukee in the last round. But we did see on April 12th, faced off against Orlando. Benedict actually finished with 20 points in that game. On April 20th against Bucks, had 13 points, then had 14 points on April 23rd. Then April 26th had 9 points, and then to finish off, April 30th had 5 points in his most latest game. So he's actually going the under in 2 out of the last 5, like we mentioned. His average over the last 5 is 12.2, but he definitely had a little bit of an outlier game against Orlando. So, I definitely do believe that did bring this line a little bit too high, and the average as well, that now there's a lot more value actually to go on the under. So we most recently just did talk about, the Cleveland and Indiana and where they did rank, but just to refresh your memory again, Cleveland Cavaliers ranked first, 64-18 record, 78% win percentage, and then moving on from that, we see Cleveland do a fantastic job, and then Pacers ranked 50-32 in the regular season with a 61% win percentage, and then came in fourth. So, somewhat a similar record in that sense. Obviously, they did have more wins, but, it is definitely going to be an exciting game because both of these teams actually did finish in the top 5. Now, looking at this matchup, we do see Cleveland Cavaliers, like we mentioned before, they do rank really well in points, rebounds, and assists, 12th in points, like we mentioned. In assists, they rank a little bit better at 8th, and then rebounds, they do rank 11th. But looking at Benedict Mathurin, we are more focused on points, and when it comes to points, we obviously did see how great they ranked, and that's why we do like the under for someone like Benedict Mathurin as well. And when it comes to Benedict, we actually do see him tend to play the shooting guard, mainly the small forward position, and Cleveland actually do a fantastic job at restricting points to the small forward position. Cleveland have done a great job throughout the whole year just playing great defense, and we definitely see that affecting Benedict Mathurin in this game as well. So when we actually look at Benedict Mathurin against Cavaliers during the regular season, we did see, some interesting scores because we saw on the 12th of January, they did play. He actually had 12 points in that matchup. And then in the next one on the 14th of that same month, he had 19 points. And then on the 10th of April, had 13 points. So, he did actually go on the over in all 3 matchups. However, we are still sticking to the under for this situation here. So for that reason, we do very much like the under for someone like Benedict Mathurin coming into this game. We definitely should see Cleveland come out playing all their defense that they can, and it should restrict Benedict Mathurin from this matchup. So Benedict Mathurin, 9.5 points for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now getting into the next one, we're going to be talking about Draymond Green. So Draymond Green, great player, and this one is a fantastic one because he actually has done a great job throughout the whole season. But Draymond Green, this one's a great one for actually points, and this one is actually for 8 points and for less. So looking at Draymond Green, we've actually seen him go on the under in 5 out of the last 5 games, with 2 of them being a push. Now looking at Draymond Green, we do see that, on April 24th, faced off against Houston, had 8 points there. Then moving on from that, on April 27th, we actually saw him have 7 points in that matchup. Then April 29th, had 6 points. 7 points on May 1st, and then May 3rd in the most recent game, Game 6, he had 8 points in that matchup. So we actually did see him go on the, I would say, under in pretty much all single games. Yes, there were 2 where he didn't go on the under, but overall, we still do think that he has gone on the under consistently. Now, looking at this matchup, it's definitely an exciting one. Now, Houston, Golden State Warriors, Game 7, it's definitely going to be an intense matchup between both of these teams. But obviously, looking further, we do see that Draymond Green has definitely played a big role for this matchup. Now, looking at the rankings between both of these teams, we do know that Houston Rockets did have a better record. They actually had a record of 52-30. So they actually did a fantastic job there. They had a 63.4% win percentage, which I thought was great. And then on the other side, we saw Warriors have a record of 48-34, a 58.5% win percentage. So they did a fantastic job there. So, looking at this one, there's going to be a very, very good matchup between both of these teams. It is coming up to Game 7. Now, obviously, we do see that Draymond in this matchup is definitely going to be an integral part. But looking at Houston Rockets, we did see during the regular season that they did actually rank 6 when it came to points allowed. So they ranked very, very high. So when we look at this one, we do very much like the under for this situation due to the fact that Houston do a great job defensively. But another big reason for it is due to the fact that when we actually look at Draymond Green, as we all know, he doesn't have that high of a usage rate in scoring. Draymond isn't really a scorer for this team. He tends to just play defense and just do a fantastic job at also playmaking for this team. That's always been his role, and we definitely see that being his role coming into this next game. Now, because of that, we do very much like, the under for this situation here. He's gone on the under consistently as well. So for that reason, we are definitely sticking to the under for this situation. Now, when we look at someone like Draymond as well, we are also expecting it due to the fact that when we look at, some of his most recent games against Houston, we actually do see it kind of work out in our favor there. Now, looking at these games, we do see that they face off against each other first time on the 2nd of November last year. They had 14 points in that matchup. Then on the 11th of December, actually had 8 points. Then at 13 points on the 13th of February. And then on the 6th of actually April, had 2 points in that matchup. So we actually did see him go on the under in 2 out of those 4 games, with one of those being a push. But we definitely are expecting the under. Game 7 is a very, very different sort of matchup. Definitely a very different sort of, I would say, environment due to the fact that Game 7, everything is on the line. There's a lot of strategy behind these teams. So I definitely do think, the under is definitely going to be for this. So for that reason, we are sticking to the under for this one. So Draymond Green, 8 points for less, I think is a fantastic pick. All right, so as you all know, I do want to get these picks out to you as soon as possible, but Prizepicks is delayed with some of their lines. So here are a couple of players you should definitely watch out for when their lines drop. So the first player we're going to be talking about is none other than Alperen Sengun. Now, as you all know, Alperen Sengun is a great player for the Houston Rockets, and this is definitely going to be a very, very exciting matchup because the Houston Rockets do actually face off against none other than the Golden State Warriors. Now, this is going to be a very exciting game. As we all know, both of these teams are heading into Game 7. The series is tied 3-3, as we all know, so it's definitely going to be an exciting game between both of these teams. Now, looking at Sengun, we've actually seen him average 19.1 points per game, so him 10.3 rebounds, 4.9 assists, while also shooting 49.6% from the field. So he did a fantastic job for, the Houston Rockets during the regular season. We actually saw him rank 39th when it came to actually points, 9th when it came to rebounds, and then 40th when it came to assists, while also ranking 36th in field goal percentage. So, Alperen Sengun definitely had himself a really, really good year, and that's the reason why Houston Rockets did finish with a second in the Western Conference with a 52-30 record with a 63.4% win percentage. Now, on top of that, when you also look at, the Golden State Warriors are on the other side of the poll because they actually came in at 7th with a 48-34 record. So a couple of game difference between them too. They also had a 58.5% win percentage. So it's definitely been an interesting time for him. Now, obviously, looking at Alperen Sengun, we've seen him do a great job, but looking defensively at Golden State Warriors, we do see that the Golden State Warriors do rank 8th when it comes to points allowed. Also, when it comes to assists allowed, we actually do see the Warriors rank 10th, and then rebounds allowed, we also do see that the Golden State Warriors rank 15th. So they rank pretty well. And on top of that, when we also look at Alperen Sengun, he is a center, but we do actually see him going on the over in this situation here. A big reason being is that when it comes to Alperen Sengun, he is a great player, and on top of that, although Warriors do a fantastic job defensively, they actually do a very poor job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the center position. Now, when we actually look at the series, it's definitely been very interesting because we have seen games when Sengun has definitely scored at will, and we definitely see that happening in this game 7. As you all know, they are heading to home, so there is some sort of advantage that Houston Rockets do have in this game, and they do have the momentum winning, the most recent game 5 and game 6, being able to tie up this 3-1 series, and they might be able to pull it off and take this one home. So for that reason, it's definitely going to be a very exciting game. Now, when we look at Sengun over the last couple of games, we definitely have seen something pretty interesting because we see on game 2, they won 109-94. He actually had 17 points in that matchup, 16 rebounds, and also 7 assists. On top of that, moving on to game 3, he had 15 points, 4 assists, 11 rebounds in game 3 with a 104-93 loss. After that, a loss again in game 4, 31 points, however, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. He was putting on an absolute show, and then also had 15 points, 9 assists, 9 rebounds in game 5. Then he had 21 points, 6 assists, 14 rebounds in game 6 with 115-107 record. So we definitely see that being a big sort of game coming into this game 7. We definitely have seen him going the over on his lines at occasion. And, we definitely see him doing it in a special game 7 for sure. So it's definitely going to be an exciting matchup between both of these teams, no doubt about it. And we have seen Sengun be able to provide that for his team, day in and day out during this whole series. So even though that the Warriors have played great defense all season, they do struggle against centers, and we do see Alperen Sengun being able to take advantage of that. So keep an eye out for the over. I don't really think you need to focus on points, rebounds, and assists. I think he has the capability to definitely go in the over in any one of these categories. So just keep an eye out for his line in general. So, keep an eye out for his line. If it is under his averages, then definitely look to go on the over. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about none other than Jarrett Allen. So Jarrett Allen, as we all know, great player for none other than the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he's done a fantastic job, actually averaging 13.5 points, 9.7 rebounds, 1.9 assists, while also shooting 70.6% from the field. So he has done a fantastic job. Now, obviously, we see that he's ranked 76th in points, 11th in rebounds, 134th in assists, and then 1st in actually field goal percentage. So great job for Jarrett Allen there. Now, Cleveland Cavaliers do face off against the Indiana Pacers in game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. It is a very exciting game. Obviously, it is the first game of the Eastern Conference semifinals, and we do see that the Cavaliers did come in at the first spot with a 64-18 record. That is a 78% win percentage, which was insane to see. And then on top of that, looking at the other side, you do see that they do face off against the Pacers, who did come in at the 4th spot with a 50-32 record. So it's definitely going to be an exciting game, no doubt about it. Now, obviously, looking at these teams and looking at where they do stand in it, we obviously do see that the Cavaliers are ranked a little bit higher. So it's definitely going to be an interesting, matchup in a sense that they definitely are favored. But looking at Indiana Pacers, we do see Indiana Pacers during the regular season. We actually saw Indiana Pacers ranked 17th in points allowed. When it came to assists allowed, they ranked 12th. And then rebounds allowed, they also rank 22nd. So when it comes to someone like Jarrett Allen, we do very much like, the over for this situation here. A big reason being is that Pacers don't really rank too well, when it comes to those 3 categories. They rank pretty mid-tier, but we also do see when we look at a per position basis, we actually do see that Jarrett Allen is a center, and Indiana Pacers actually struggle against the center position. So we definitely see someone like Jarrett Allen being able to take advantage of this and going on the over in a situation situation like this. He's definitely had some pretty big games during, the first matchup or the first round of the playoffs, and we should see that carry over into this next game, no doubt about it. Now, Pacers, we are expecting in this game one to actually push the pace quite a lot. Cavaliers are a little bit of a slower paced team, but what we have seen time and time again is that Indiana Pacers actually do a fantastic job at speeding up slower paced teams. So we could actually see Jarrett Allen receive a little bit more volume than he is usually used to, which can definitely, work out, I guess, in Jarrett Allen's favor, be able to help him to go over on his line. Now, looking at, his points, rebounds, and assist line, if there is any to focus on, I wouldn't really say there's any, due to the fact that when we actually look at it, we do see that, Jarrett Allen not only has done well in all three categories, but, I think points and rebounds is definitely where most of his usage rate actually is. So I still do believe he has the capability to go over in all three, but if there were ones to definitely look at, I think those two are definitely the ones to definitely keep an eye out for, which is points and rebounds. But either way, all three definitely have the capability to do it. So, no need and no worries there. Definitely keep an eye out for all three of those lines. Now, obviously, this is a different team, but looking at the matchup that they did have, which was against Miami in game 1, 2, 3, and 4, they did actually sweep them. We saw Jarrett Allen have 12 points, 11 rebounds, 1 assist in game 1. We saw him have 9 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist in game 2. Then in game 3, came in with 10 rebounds, 1 assist, and 22 points. And then had 14 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists in game 4. So they actually did a fantastic job throughout, that whole series, and Jarrett Allen definitely kept his usage rate pretty high. I do believe that Jarrett Allen is definitely going to have a bigger role coming into this game due to the fact that it is a little bit more of a tougher matchup. Okay, Miami Heat, there are a lot of games where it was pretty much blowout situation, so you actually saw Jarrett Allen get taken off early or rested him pretty early into the matchup. So coming into this one, we are expecting a little bit more closer games, which would definitely actually affect Jarrett Allen's usage rate greatly, as we could see him out there longer than he was compared to those Miami games. So that's definitely something to keep an eye out for. Now, when you look at, the matchup between both these teams, definitely going to be exciting for game 1, but keep an eye out for Jarrett Allen. We see a lot of value there to go on the over, especially if the line is under his averages. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Brandon Podziemski. So, Brandon Podziemski, as we all know, fantastic player from the Golden State Warriors, and he's done a fantastic job all season. But what we do see is that when we actually look at this, sort of stats that he has had during the regular season, we actually saw him have 11.7 points, 5.1 rebounds, 3.4 assists, while also shooting 44.5% from the field. So he's done a fantastic job there. Now, obviously, he did rank 98th in points, 72nd in rebounds, 72nd in assists. So he definitely did do very well, especially, helping out this Golden State Warriors team. Now, like we mentioned before, the Golden State Warriors do have themselves a very good matchup against, none other than the Houston Rockets. Now, obviously, we did just mention it, but just to reiterate, Houston Rockets came in at second, 52-30 record with a 63.4% win percentage, and the Warriors 48-34 ranked in 7th, 58.5% win percentage. So they did a fantastic job there. Now, obviously, looking at all of these teams, they definitely are or probably one of the last kind of matchups happening left. They actually pushed it to a Game 7, the Houston Rockets, so it's definitely going to be an interesting one. Now, looking at this, what we actually do see as well is that we do see that when we look at the Houston Rockets, points-wise, we actually see them ranked very good, as they actually ranked 6th. In assists wise, they also ranked 2nd, and then rebounds allowed, they also ranked 4th. So, we actually saw them rank very, very well throughout the whole season. They actually did a great job defensively, and because of that, we definitely do very much like the under for this situation here. Although Brandon Podziemski is a great player, what we are expecting coming into this is due to the fact that when we look at Brandon, we actually have seen his usage rate remain pretty low during this series. A big reason for this is that Brandon Podziemski has kind of been given the role of playing a lot more defense than anything else, He's a bit more of a defensive presence out there. He kind of leaves the offense to players like Jimmy Butler, even Draymond at times, Steph Curry, and even players like Buddy Hield. So Podziemski is definitely doing a lot of the scrappy work, but we haven't really seen his usage rate remain that much high. He's definitely had some big games for sure, but I think overall we should actually see him go on the under in this next one, no doubt about it. Now, looking at also the matchup between both of these teams, we also do see that, Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets matchups has definitely been very intense. We saw in game 2, Podziemski had actually 0 in all 3 categories: points, rebounds, and assists. Then we saw in game 3, he actually had 10 points, 2 assists, and 4 rebounds. After that, game 4 was able to go crazy and had 26 points, 5 assists, and also 5 rebounds there. And game 5 had 8 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds. And game 6 had 10 points, 3 assists, and 7 rebounds. So it's definitely going to be an exciting game. It's definitely going to come down to the wire for this one, as it is a game 7. But we have actually seen Podziemski's usage rate definitely remain low. There are times where he has been able to beat his line, but it isn't really convincing enough to us, especially with Houston Rockets being such a great defensive team. We are expecting Houston Rockets, like I mentioned, to have a little bit of an advantage due to the fact that it is home court. But, Houston Rockets throughout the whole season and also during the playoff series has definitely done a great job restricting guards from points, from rebounds, and also from assists. So we definitely, unfortunately, see that happening for Brandon Podziemski coming into this game. So for that reason, I definitely would keep an eye out for the under for this one. There really isn't any you need to focus on. I definitely see him have the capability to go on the under in any one of them. So that can definitely work out in their favor for sure. Now, also looking at the next player, we're going to be talking about Pascal Siakam. So as you all know, Pascal Siakam, great player from none other than the Indiana Pacers. Now he's done a fantastic job all season because he's actually averaged 20.2 points, 6.9 rebounds, 3.4 assists, while also shooting 51.9% from the field. Now, when we look at this, we see that they rank 33rd in points, he ranked 32nd in rebounds, 76 in assists, and then 23rd in field goal percentage. So he's definitely done a great job there. Now, when we look at Indiana Pacers, like we mentioned before, they face off against the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's definitely going to be an exciting matchup between both of these teams, but this is going to be, game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals, so definitely going to be an intense one there. Now, obviously, looking at their matchup, we do see that the Cleveland Cavaliers did rank throughout the regular season. They actually ranked when it came to points allowed, they ranked 12th. Moving on into assists allowed, we see that they ranked 8th, and then rebounds allowed, we actually saw them rank 11th. So they ranked very, very well in all 3 categories, in the top 15, which I think is still very, very solid. Now, when we actually look at, Pascal Siakam, he does play the power forward position, and we actually do see that Cleveland Cavaliers do a fantastic job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the power forward position. So we definitely see someone like Pascal actually going on the under in this one. A big reason for this is due to the fact that when we look at Pascal, although he's a great player, Cavaliers have some great defensive bigs, that being Evan Mobley, who actually just won Defensive Player of the Year, and also Jarrett Allen, as a supporting cast in that big man role. So we definitely could see Pascal have himself a bit of a struggling night due to the intense defense that he may face off against. So we definitely see that, I would say being taken advantage of. And we definitely should see Pascal go on the under here. Now, looking at actually Pascal Siakam against, against the series against Milwaukee last round, we actually saw in game 1, he had 25 points, 2 assists, 7 rebounds. So great job there. Game 2 had 24 points, 3 assists, 11 rebounds. In game 3, had 28 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Then had 12 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds in game 4. And then game 5 had 10 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist. So he actually did a fantastic job, in all 3 categories, and did a great job against Milwaukee Bucks for sure. But like we all know, that is definitely a little bit of an older matchup because this is a new round. It is a completely new team. So we definitely can see it go a very, very different way. So, for that reason, I definitely would keep an eye out for actually Pascal Siakam, but we do very much more like the under for this situation here. A big reason being is that when we actually look at Pascal and actually this matchup against Cavaliers, so when it comes to Pascal, I think you have the capability to see him go in the under in all 3 categories. There really wouldn't need to be anyone you have to actually focus on, due to the fact that when we actually look at the matchup, we do see that, you know, Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen should definitely give Pascal a little bit of a harder time than usual, which could definitely work out in their favor. So for that reason, we do very much like, you know, the under for this situation for Pascal, whether it's points, rebounds, and assists. But as always, you want to keep an eye out for the line first. If the line is too close to his averages, then definitely look to go on the under there.